Hello.
We get a lot of echo. She can hear me now, but we can't hear her. And then because I became the active speaker. So while I'm going to move this around and I'm on 3G, I'm not going to get great experience, but what we're able to do, as you can see from hers and from this camera, we're able to deliver that content as a radiologist or doctor looking at it, and we can elevate out to these room faces, which does that in a much, much better level.
So this is kind of like a Skyping, but this Skype...
Sure. We're Skype compatible, but this is a Polycom unit and a LifeSize unit, things that are purposely built for video conferencing. And you'll see in our collage infrastructure, we can embed that to the side as you're having that relationship. So the real place of interest becomes the moment you're looking to talk to a group of physicians and want to go to a video call center. You need a second opinion. You go to a call center and if I'm logged in, want to talk to someone, I can have a phone call, I can text, chat, or a video call. So there are some subsets that require video. Sure.
To have a camera kind of for a smartphone.
If you want to do on mobile, yes. I can also do it on an iPad, laptop, cameras. If you want to be on camera, choose any hundreds of types of cameras. It doesn't really matter so much.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. And I guess what's the problem that this can solve in the future? I guess I'm trying to.
So for a radiologist, not as much. So office-to-office communications, the typical meetings on a pane of glass. For us, it's the emergency response, second opinion, when you want to talk to someone. We've recorded pieces of this. You can see a little button here. So if all of this is being recorded, it can then be saved for later.
Recorded, yes.
Yeah. So then there's a conversation that you can then capture for later. And then in an emergency response situations for the video telemedicine side of it, maybe you have a language that I'm okay at but not proficient. I could click and have this device be a specialist. So it's about access to healthcare as much as it is about good in-depth meetings. So the images, the storage, this whole trade show is about people who can do that, store that faster. We do a per-click model, so we do a hosted model for the traditional teleradiology and telestroke and ophthalmology. What we're doing is we're taking that at the point where you want a video relationship around content. That's where we come in. Does that make sense?
Okay. And do you store your own images of recordings, or who does?
Who do you want to? And we can make it ours, we make it yours. Depends on where you want it. It's a virtual appliance.
Is it considered like a medical record at the end of the day?
It depends on what you cover. So if it's just video, it doesn't have the HIPAA requirements. But if you're showing content, it can. But it's an MP4 file, so you can store it wherever you want as a recording. You can actually do live stream without recording too. So if you wanted to do a training infrastructure, that's the other place we see this taking off. The other problem that it solves is training and development. So you do a real-time interaction with someone on voice, you elevate that up to video, you capture that training moment, you can then have other people see what they learned or how they learned it.
How much time does it take on customer side? Like, is there like an app that needs
to plug into a browser, or depending on the experience they want, these units take a little bit more to plug in because these cameras are a little bit more, but...
So it's like self kind of setup?
And we make kits that are 2 plugs, 1 plug and an internet connection. So particularly for the hospital environment, you typically want to idiot-proof that.
So is it like per session kind of charge, or is it like monthly charge?
Usually a monthly for the amount of bandwidth and ports that you need. Although some of them, so if you think about Hollywood Squares and 9 people on the Brady Bunch effect, so there's an example of that.
And where are you guys located at?
I am out of Emeryville, California, but we're in New York, Las Vegas, San Francisco, London.
Anything you look at?
A physical office? I've got... I know we have a technician here, so I have a number of, we sell through a channel, so we've got people who are certified to be here that can help. So imagine this being a video call, and each of these was an individual. We can also do live cameras to each of those boxes. So a panel of physicians who might want to discuss records can then see who's discussing it. So as you get into that education space or that Hollywood Squares.
Wow. So you have to make sure that all of them have the time at the same time to join and start the conversation like a conference call.
That's a conference call. It's a typically scheduled meeting, right? So those are
all of
events.
One of them maybe Radiology, the other one.
Or quite frankly, if it's emergency rounds, we look at this as near side and back side. So you could have 10 cardiologists and 10 just people who are certified to fix the problem that you have. You dial out to one, it goes to the first one available. So you think about sort of the
doctors, the doctors are kind of also selected by the patient or selected by whomever has the system?
Depending on how we set up the system, right? So they choose how they get reached. Do they get reached by voice? Do they get reached by video? Are they on Skype or are they on LifeSize?
Questions might try.
Oh, absolutely. And that is the provider's problem to fix, not the patient, right? So if the patient gets access to this, when they click, they're only going to people that are capable of doing that for them.
They need to have it set up. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
But not necessarily.
Absolutely. We want to get paid for this. As much as we like what we do, we want to actually be able to make some money on it too. Yeah, no,
How do you guys validate this system? Like, does it require, is it regulated or does it require to be regulated?
It doesn't require to be regulated because this is, this is video conferencing that's been used in hospitals for point-to-point calls all this time. This is video conferencing that's used for law firms, consulting firms. I mean, video's been around for a long time. We just haven't been at the place yet where we can also then record it or integrate it at the desktop like we've done here with our radiology information or our medical imaging. So, yeah, does that make sense? Like on these workstations, you have a sort of an example of what that looks like for them, right? So then if I'm at an individual level and I'm doing point-to-point conversation, as we're talking, they're seeing that relationship. As I change my screen, those tabs, I can then elevate that out to a higher definition, higher resolution call. So it really becomes about a more immersive experience. You're gonna go up to a different camera. Does that make sense? Yeah, so you might not have a high definition experience for home office, but you might in a conference room. Some of the cameras are bad. It's really more about this image here. So you want to get rid of it with background lighting and things that go with that more immersive experience. So there's but this is still pretty good. I mean, it's the quality of what we're doing there. You notice in the, if I even count 1, 2, 3, there's a little bit of delay. Because with this infrastructure you saw without no delay whatsoever. I mean, she's real time. So it really depends that you go from this and you have audio on this.
One is on the desktop with high results.
Correct. Real-time mobile device, high resolution, medical components to it. What are you doing tonight? Do the House of Blues with us, or?
No, I'm just kind of getting to know what they're knowledgeable experts.
Excellent.
So, I have actually a lot of companies with some cases to talk to people.
Great. As I do too. I'm Alex at the food animal. I'm great. My name's Randy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Randy.
Good. Hey, Ash, you ready for your tour?
You're breaking up a little bit.
Yes. Who was it? I asked him. Is it really? Too bad. Yeah. For Monday, I expect planned. Me too. I usually am. Alex, can you hear me?
Yes, but you're breaking up quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah, now go ahead and hit the stop on the record, please.